Hey, I was gonna. I buy comic books every Wednesday, and I was gonna start reviewing the comic books that I buy. But today, Age of Ultron #10 came out, and I figured if I got started talking about that one, I'd probably start to ramble on and on and on. So I'm just doing hopefully a quick video on that one, and then maybe a separate one on individual comics came out today, but we'll see. Age of Ultron, in case you don't know, is the most recent Marvel Comics event, and with #10 that came out today, it's completed, it's over. Uh, and briefly, I'll just Age of Ultron is Ultron has taken over the Marvel Universe, or is in the process of. The heroes on the run, yeah, a bunch of them are missing or dead. It starts really in the middle of action, so it yeah, it starts in the middle of action. It doesn't give any like setup. You don't know who's alive and dead. You don't know how far the attack's gone. You don't really know how what happened or anything. You just see like tons of debris and all it, and just missing some scarred and battered heroes. But yeah, and that's just how it starts, and then it just tries to show you this horrible world, and the heroes trying to you know, trying to overcome this. And this goes on. That part goes on for 5 issues, and that was uncalled for and unnecessarily long. I don't know why that took 5 issues to do that, but we'll talk about it. Let me just finish the overview. So then they decide, since Ultron, they figure out that Ultron has attacked them from the future, so they decide they have to go to the future to, stop him. And most of the heroes that are remaining head to the future and attack Ultron, and they show a battle, and it looks like all of them pretty much get killed. But we never see that again, because now the time traveling frenzy begins. Wolverine decides to go to the past to kill Hank Pym, who created Ultron, who was an artificial intelligence, to kill Hank Pym before he creates Ultron. So, and he does. He goes back in time and he kills him. And then he goes back to his present, and it's just another dystopic future. And this time Iron Man's in charge, and Morgana Le Fay, I think, is the villain. She's a magic-based villain. I've never heard of her before. And she attacks after Wolverine gets to back to his present, and takes out everybody. More or less is what it looks like. And Wolverine, after he heals, is on his way. It's like, well, I have to go back in time again to stop myself from doing this, or try to change this future. And before he does, Iron Man stops him, and this happens. This is the 9th issue. This is the second to the last issue. Where Iron Man says, "Stop! Don't travel through time anymore. If you traveling through time is ripping up the time-space continuum or something." And every time someone travels, it creates another tear, and it can't take much more. And Wolverine's like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna fix this mess." And he travels back in time. And then I guess I should have said this up front. I spoiled a bunch already, but this is the end coming up, and it came this came in a poly bag, and so to ensure that I guess people wouldn't read it in the stores, so the big ending wouldn't get out, even though Marvel revealed I guess the biggest surprise of the ending. Anyway, spoilers. So he's like, gives him that warning, and Wolverine's like, whatever, I'm going back in time to fix this. So he goes back in time, stops himself from killing Hank Pym, but gets Hank Pym to develop some code in Ultron, to implant some code in Ultron. Like, I guess it's some sort of self-destruct sequence or some kind of backdoor program for him, that's going to allow him to kill Ultron at that point, and at the point in Wolverine's present where he attacked. They don't want to destroy him before that or stop him from creating Ultron, because they want because that would alter it again. They don't want to alter everything. They just want to change the fact that Ultron kicked the ass. They want to stop that. They don't want to stop change everything. So they implant that. Then Hank Pym forgets that. Somehow manages to forget that he created this backdoor in Ultron, and then goes about their business, live their lives. Everything happens as normal. Wolverine comes back to his present. Everything, the city's not destroyed. Ultron hasn't taken over anymore. So it looks normal, and then there's like these weird vibrating effects on the cut pages, and this like fractured panels, and just showing like multiple like versions of character. I don't have it in front of me right now. I read it a couple hours ago. Yeah, but it's pretty much Iron Man's warning from the previous issue. Time's messed up and everything's messed up, and then the reveal, like Marvel revealed a while ago, that Angela, a character that Neil Gaiman created for an issue of Spawn, appears in the Marvel universe. She's called by the Time Rift, and she's pulled in through Time Rift, and Galactus shows up in the Ultimate Universe in Ultimate Spider-Man. See, I don't read Ultimate Spider-Man. I've never read that. So I think that's supposed to be Ultimate Spider-Man, because I think it was at an Ultimate Comics event. I guess it's to make up for the Ultimate Galactus one I which was kind of underwhelming. But yeah, that's the story. But and for a comic book, man, that's cool. It's a cool story. I don't really have a problem with it per se. It's just how it was executed. It was the first 5 issues are like world building for this event, like to show you how horrible the world has become. So it's 5 really, really, I would say slow paced, but they're really quick paced. Like the first issue, in a nutshell, is Hawkeye rescues Spider-Man from a building and takes him back to the headquarters, what's left of the headquarters, and then they look at Captain America huddled in the corner, upset because they lost a fight to Ultron. I mean, that was a $3.99 issue of a comic where Spider-Man is rescued and they go home. That's all that happened. I was like, wow. Okay. And then, the next issues were just like talking, and then they come up with a plan, and yeah, I don't know. And those first 5 issues were very underwhelming, very disappointing, and the only reason I think I was able to stick with it through those issues was because they were coming out pretty much every other week. If this was like a monthly event, there's no way I would have been able to stick it out through all 10 issues. But I mean, I think it started in April. It was June, man. Maybe March, but I think it started in April, and it's over now. So I mean, that was pretty quick. But then when it took a turn, it got a little interesting after it took the turn, after they decided to travel through the future and Wolverine to the past. And I was like, oh, those are cool ideas. It would have been interesting to show more of that future storyline, but it ultimately didn't matter. Like anything in this story, like everything in the story, because it was wiped away. And the only person that affected, I guess, because Sue Storm went back in time with Wolverine and didn't really do anything. But I think she's fought a dinosaur in the Savage Land. I think she saved them from a dinosaur. Uh, yeah, and so yeah, it kind of was a mess. I don't understand how this was. I don't understand the purpose of the event. I mean, besides the last issue, the last issue, the last couple pages of the last issue is to set up two other events. One in Angela, who's going to be appearing in Guardians of the Galaxy, and Galactus, who's going to be in the ultimate, and being the Ultimate Universe. But this story, I mean, the whole the whole linchpin of the whole, and not even the linchpin of this story, because it had nothing to do with the story. It was like a throwaway line by Tony Stark that Wolverine ignored, is in the issue, in the penultimate issue, is the whole focus, becomes the whole conclusion of the book, and it's bagged and boarded. Well, it wasn't boarded. It was bagged, and yeah, the bag wasn't even sealed. It was like open, and I thought that was weird. I remember like the Easter bag. I thought they were like sealed, and you have to rip them open, but I can't. Maybe not. Yeah, and it was bad so that you couldn't read it. So it was supposed to be like some big, huge, oh my god moment. But I mean, it was predictable. I predicted the last issue, and before, I mean, as soon as I read number 9, I was like, oh well, it's definitely Tony's, because of what Tony Stark said. That's going to be the big fallout, and Marvel already revealed that Angela was going to show up in the Marvel universe in the last issue. Maybe the last page. That might have been the last page. That or the Galactus thing. So, but yeah, I don't know. So, and this, so many books, so little story. It would have been awesome if if the first 5 books weren't all like splash pages of, destroyed buildings and landscapes, and I was like, well, and it actually had like character moments, and that comes, yeah, that's all I talk about it. Character moments, that's what you need. I mean, if you're not going to show the action, you're not going to show Ultron attack. I mean, we see Ultron, we see like the first rendition of Ultron for one panel, and like midway through the series where Hank Pym first develops him. But it might have been like the last issue, I don't know. And then we see there's a brief fight with the actual Ultron when they use the backdoor code implant thing Hank Pym developed, because Wolverine traveled through time twice, once to kill him and then once to stop himself from killing him. Yeah, I don't know, and that just got a little silly. Kind of a cool idea if done right, but the rest of the story sucked. And apparently there were a bunch of tie-ins. I didn't get any of the tie-ins because I didn't like the main story enough. I heard that it seems like the tie-ins were better than the main book. It seems like they were pretty cool. They fleshed out things that could have been fleshed out in the first 5 issues of the series where absolutely nothing happened. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm a little upset because I spent the total, not including tax, $40 on this series. 40, right? Yeah, $40. Man. I mean, I could. And I want the first issue or the prelude issue of the Marvel's next event today too. So. They got me, don't they? But Age of Ultron, that wasn't anything. Man. But, yeah, like I said, I'm buying the next event, whatever. And they said Age of Ultron was supposed to lead into Marvel's next event, but I guess it's Ultimate Marvel's next event. Maybe something big's going to be happening. I'm reading Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm reading that because I think Neil Gaiman It's supposed to be working on that with Brian Michael Bendis. I don't like Brian Michael Bendis ever. I didn't. I read his New Avengers for a while. Uh, I read House of M and Secret Invasion. I think those are the only things I read by him. I didn't. House of M was okay. I didn't like Secret Invasion. But yeah, and I didn't. I didn't like Age of Ultron. And I would talk about the art more, but I didn't really like it. There were a couple pages in his last issue I liked when Wolverine and Sue got to their present. I don't know who drew those pages. It was just like a couple of pages. Well, just show up, but that was just another gigantic splash page of like New York City of Manhattan. But there were a couple of panels where Wolverine steps out and he looks very almost cartoonish, but it looked kind of cool. I like that. I like that style a little bit. But I don't know. I'm not an art guy. I'm a story guy. I read comics because of the stories, or I guess characters. I read some characters like Gambit, but I don't. I only follow writers, so I don't know why. Besides the fact it was a Marvel event, I picked up Age of Ultron, and it didn't really pay off. Oh yeah. I mean, I had more things to say, but now I'm just like disappointed. I wasted $40 on that. But yeah, back it and bought it and throw it in the box.